Hello and welcome to round one of Superbike GP. We are here in sunny Spain. Well, what's normally sunny. Unfortunately today it's been raining and it's really cold, but that's not going to stop us. We are here at a beautiful circuit you may have heard of. We're here at Motorland Aragon. Also known as Aragon, has been hosting racing since 1965, which was its first GP race, but due to safety reasons, racing stopped here in 2003. It was said that everyone here loved racing so much it was a must to build a circuit, with the target of being one of the best worldwide. 2009 saw the doors open up to racing, and 2010 hosted its very first Moto GP race. So now, let's have a quick look at a couple key points at this circuit. I'm going to pick out two key spots for this track, and one being that magnificent straight. It's really windy as you can see today. Aragon is known for the wind, but just look at that straight. You can get to top gear in that, past the 200 boards, 150 yard boards, brake, gear down twice, which leads you onto this beautiful left-hander. You can throw the bike in so fast. Trust it, run it in there with so much speed. You can run it out wide and then come back on yourself, and it's slightly uphill, which gives you a little bit more positive camber. Trust the front, get on the gas, pick it up and drive all the way out up to the back straight. This is the best turn in the world, bar none, for me. The circuit has 16 turns and has a bit of everything, even its very own corkscrew. The first third is flowing, the second is technical, and the third is fast. Often referred to as the reverse corkscrew because it's the opposite direction to the original corkscrew, which is from Laguna Seca. It's a right then a downhill left, and I have to say I've ridden both, but I much prefer Aragon's corkscrew. Entry into the right turn is from a short straight. It's easy enough, but the downhill left requires some caution. It really does drop away from you, so you don't really want to be on the brakes for too long. Try not to attack it. Try and use a neutral throttle not to upset the bike, and then drive hard onto the next left. I must say, it's an epic turn, and this track really does have it all. Bang average basics. Firstly, this is just a guide of how to ride on track. The most important part is safety of yourself and others. There are plenty of great riding schools out there, some coaches and great instructors. For example, HPC, High Performance Coaching, Moto Voodoo, Spike Edwards, and Not So Fast, just to name a few. All brilliant with plenty to offer, and in my opinion, it's probably the best upgrade you can get for you or your bike. So instead of splashing out on that shiny new exhaust that will only get you an extra 5 horsepower but may sound great instruction will give you safer and faster lap times. But instruction is not cheap, and to get the best value it's essential that you know some basics. That's where this series comes in, covering the basics so you'll have some sort of structure for doing a track day, and if eventually you do decide to get some instruction, you'll be in a much better place. A lot of instructors have previous high-level race experience and can more than likely lap around a circuit faster than most with their eyes closed. But racing at a high level for such a long time, it's likely they've forgotten what it was like to be slow. Really, track riding starts before you come to a track. I highly recommend watching a few onboard videos just to use as a reference. You don't have to memorize the video, but it will help in just the general knowledge of the direction of the track. Let's say a left or a right, and then turn 3 might be another right, and will give you extra time to focus on other points. Even if you only watch the video a few times, it's better than not, as you'll subconsciously remember parts of the track. Try not to pick the fastest lap times because the MotoGP riders will ride at a different pace and it may look like a completely different circuit. Use the very first lap on your sighting laps to look for the marshal's posts. These guys are going to be essential. If you ever have a problem, they need to see you and you need to see them. Once you've established where the track is going, it's important to focus on your lines and being in the correct position on track. It's surprising I see how many riders on track not using the correct line. I myself am guilty of this. Unless you're planning an overtake, there's absolutely no reason for a poor line, as you're just slowing yourself down and probably running wide on your exit, which is not only dangerous to yourself but also dangerous to others, as you are not in complete control. You'll see professional racers or even watching fast group riders in a single file, really close to each other, riding safely. That's because everyone there knows the line. Even if some bikes may require a slight variation, i.e. a 600 in comparison to 1000, in general they are not a million miles apart. The only time to ride offline is to perform an overtaking manoeuvre. That being said, it's very important that everybody knows the tyre capability and the pressures. Go and see the tyre guy, there's always going to be one on track. Tell him what tyres you have, tell him how many times you've done a track day on them, or how long have you had the tyres, and ask for a recommendation of the tyre pressures. That is essential for a track day. I've seen riders on track, novices, with 50 psi, and I can tell you that is so dangerous. I've seen guys crash because they still had the road pressures. Aside from measuring horsepower and who's got the fastest lap times, there's another side to motorcycling, and that's like we're almost like a family here. So that's what I want to show this side here. I've met a few gentlemen, so we're going to have a talk with them. So, Pietro.
Nice to meet you, Carl.
Nice to meet you, mate. How many guys are you here today?
22.
So you managed to organise 22 guys for this trip?
Yes.
Well done you, mate. So what's the range of riders in the group?
Everything from 206, 207s in the fast group down to the other end in the kind of lower group. So we've got everything in between. So we've got every base covered, from elbow down merchants to 50 pence piece corner in.
And you all get along, you're all
Everyone
friends?
Gets along.
Different variety of bikes as well?
Different variety of bikes, different variety of people, different variety of backgrounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a good bunch of mates.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what bike you ride, what's your favourite brand,
Yeah,
you're all mates, aren't you?
yeah.
So yeah, so that's good, it's good to see. So we're going to have a look at a few of the bikes around and cheers for that, mate.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Cheers, mate. Sometimes you go to different tracks and you see bikes that you don't see every day, which is what we have here. We have a Honda SP2, is that right?
It's an SP1.
Oh, it's an SP1?
It's actually an SP1, it's just badged as an SP2.
Ah, sneaky, sneaky.
Cheap Chinese bodywork.
No, that's all right, because this is actually the one that they say is the better version, isn't it?
It's a matter of opinion.
Okay. Have you ridden an SP2?
I have ridden an SP2. I don't think I'm of the quality to be able to tell the difference.
Okay.
This one was actually built by a guy called Chris Stratford.
Okay.
It was built for Golden Era Superbikes. It was his son Ryan's wet weather race bike. So this one is properly set up, although I'm not a good enough rider to test it to its limits.
So what has been changed on this bike then?
So the engine is a full Moriwaki Stage 1 tube.
Oh wow.
It's had all of its cooling systems upgraded for the track because the road ones overheat.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's got its fueling sorted out, its power commander and everything on it. Full Harris race exhaust system.
Yep.
Suspension's obviously sorted.
I see you got the internals in as well, K-Tech internals?
Yeah, K-Tech internals. They brought all of the reservoirs and everything internally, so if you do come off, you're not going to wipe anything out.
No. How long have you had the bike?
I bought it last year.
Okay.
I had another one that I thought I'd blown up at Castle Combe.
Wow.
And it was cheaper to buy this one with
Than it was that.
already done
Yeah.
to rebuild the other one.
That makes sense. Do you know how much power she's putting out?
I think it's about 125 at the rear wheel or something like that, so well down on the...
Yeah, on the modern forms, but yeah, it's still a powerful bike.
And it's, I mean, the VTEC twin, big on torque.
Yeah,
very
that's
forgiving.
exactly, yeah, and it's a great character in the bike, so cheers for that, Martin.
No worries.
Thank you, mate. Nice one.
Good stuff, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Hello, Ranjit. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So this is your first European track day abroad?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Novice class, yeah.
In novice class, yeah? How many track days have you done?
This is my third now.
Your third track day. And how long did you pass your test?
2 years ago now.
2 years ago. And what bike is this?
It's a Honda Fireblade, book standard one.
Book standard. But I heard you had a 600 before that.
This, yeah.
And how long before you moved up?
I had a 600 for about 4 months.
4 months, and then you moved up to the 1,000.
Jumped onto one of these, yeah.
Oh, well done you, mate. But most importantly, have you had fun at this track today?
Oh, excellent. I'm learning all the time. Good crowd, good advice. Because I don't know any different.
Yeah.
Whatever they say, I'm trusting them. And it's been excellent.
Yeah, so that's...
I haven't, got nothing to call about.
But that's the main thing, isn't it? Like you said, you're a novice, you're new, but there's always someone here to help you, give you some advice, help you go quicker, find out where you're going wrong, and you're on 1,000cc as well, so...
I'm loving every minute of it. I should have started earlier,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Family and everything, can't do everything.
I hear that, mate, I hear that. But you're here now and you're having fun, and that's the main thing, mate.
I'm loving every second.
That's all, mate. Cheers for that. Thank you. The conditions were not perfect for the event, and I think that played a lot in regards to terms of timings. I was at least 5 seconds off my best time from last year. I absolutely love this track, but it's a track I don't really go too well at. So now we have the excuses out of the way, let's get on with it. Drum roll, please. The bikes we have in the red corner, the Italian bikes, both V4s. The mighty Ducati Panigale V4S, and the beautiful Aprilia RS V4 RF. And in the blue corner, representing Japan, we have the M1 inspired Yamaha R1M and the hard accelerating Suzuki GSX-R 1000R. Here we are, Aragon. I absolutely love this circuit. We are on the Aprilia now, tight left-hander here. Now for me, this is where the Aprilia should shine. This is the best section here because we're connected to the dots. It's all about momentum. But unfortunately, this part of the track is all uphill and it's really windy. So until you get to the corkscrew, which is downhill, this whole section here is really windy. And I've really struggled on the Aprilia here. So you want to brake at the dark black lines here. Turn in left, hug it, hard on the gas. Now this section here I absolutely hate because it's blind. Now we're on the Duke. There's 2 right-handers, a little kink and then a sharp, hard right-hander. But you want to be on the left, but those guys there are blocking me. And on this Duke, it's hard work, honestly, because you want to be hard on the gas here, but the front wheel comes up and it will push you wide. And the bike's really a handful, do you see? So I have to shut the throttle and get back on it again. But it's time to brake. So this is not the best section here for the Duke. It doesn't shine here. The Duke's all about exit and straights. So you want a short shift here and hard on the gas, but it does love a long left-hander like this. Now on the Jigsaw. You've got to be a bit of a man to ride this bike. It takes a bit of hard work to get the bike turned, but once it's in the turn, it's fully planted, honestly. Nice little straight here, but it's a little blind hill. You want to be hard on the brakes here, but the Suzuki's brakes are not great, and they really lack some feeling here. So we want to stay tight on this left-hander, stay close to the wall there, and then throw the bike back in on the right. And like I said, you need a bit of muscle here on the Suzuki. Now we're on the Yamaha R1. This is a bit easy for this because it's just a little small chicane here, and we want to get a great exit here for this straight. And listen to the bike sing here. Hard through the gears. Now we want to be on the right hand side, but those guys are blocking me. But the Yamaha loves this section. So now you should be hard on the brakes, back on the right hand side, but I gave those guys a bit of room, and you want to go in there really fast, and trust me, the R1 loves this section. Balance the throttle, aim for the left apex there, and as soon as you see it, hard on the gas. Bike kind of holds me back here with the traction control, front wheel slightly in the air, but Yamaha loves that section there, honestly, epic. In last place with no time set, we have the Ducati Panigale V4S. I roll out of pit lane, warm up lap, and I noticed the bike just doesn't sound right. The next lap I decided to come in and get the bike checked over, and we found out the exhaust is broken. To prevent any further damage, the bike is put to one side and phone calls are being made around Spain to see if we can get the bike sorted as soon as possible. In third place we have, surprisingly, the Aprilia RS V4 RF. I think it was just luck of the draw with the weather, as all the time spent on this bike, I just couldn't get a good grip on the bike. Every gust of wind would force the steering input, and I couldn't gain any confidence. And I think it's down to the aggressive seating position. Performance-wise, the bike's absolutely amazing, but being blown around caused me to close the throttle, which in then slows the lap times. In second place we have the Suzuki GSX-R 1000R. The bike's an absolute missile, but then again, so are any of these bikes. I really believe this bike was lucky at this track weather-wise, as I found this bike the hardest to turn, but somehow managed to lap faster than I did the Aprilia. But as I said, it seemed the laps on this bike were gust-free. For me, the Jigsaw's best features were corner exit. The bike's mild manners meant for early throttle openings, leading to good drives out of turns. I remember being behind a couple of fire blades before the main straight, and in my head, I was rubbing my hands together thinking, I'll fly past them on the straight, but I didn't. It just goes to show that any of these modern 1000cc bikes are fast. I got past the first one on the brakes and the second on the corner exit, again using the bike's best features. In first place we have the Yamaha R1M. This bike shocks me every time I ride it. It doesn't feel as fast compared to the others in terms of outright speed, but it's so comfy, relaxing and forgiving. It makes for track riding a real breeze. I'm shocked because I've owned all the others, but again, I've lapped fastest on this bike. And it could be just down to conditions here, but being comfortable and the bike being so well balanced works for this bike's benefits. I was able to put the bike where I want, when I want, and hit all my markers and drive out of the turns without any dramas. And if you want to have some fun, a slight change in body position and a slightly aggressive throttle opening, you'll have a wheelie machine anytime you want. For this series I'll keep it simple and straightforward. I did have the intention for bonus points, but that will have to wait till next series. I will award the points according to how many bikes are present for each event. Let's say for example I had 6 bikes, the winner will get 6 and so on. So for the leaderboard scores, we have 4 bikes, so we have 4 points up for grabs. Highest points for the best times. Top of the board in first place is the Yamaha R1M with 4 points. In second place with 3 points we have the Suzuki GSX-R 1000R, and in third place with 2 points the Aprilia RSV4 RF, and in last place with 1 point just for turning up the Ducati Panigale V4S. So that's the end of an epic 3 days here on track at Aragon. It's the first episode, we're done and dusted. We've had a mixture of rain, wind, it's been hard, but we've got through it. Now we're going to pack up and round this off and head to Estoril. We haven't got long. See you later. If you like the look of any of these tracks that I've been to, and let's be honest, who wouldn't? Why don't you head over to nolimits.com. Also, if you like the idea of hiring a brand new bike at any of these events, head over to tracksidehire.com